Well, it's been a hell of a morning, but we've got here to an abandoned village. First things first, we need breakfast. Well, there I was making a nice breakfast, looking forward to some breakfast burritos, scrambled eggs and eggs in wraps if you like, and I've just spilt all the eggs, so all I've got to keep me going now, glass of orange juice and a few chopped tomatoes. Oh well, we're at an abandoned village, let's go and drink this and then go and explore. So, I'm just going to cross this railway and we're at a lost, forgotten, abandoned village, which makes it sound a bit more dramatic than it actually is. It's called Tide Mills, site of a former flour mill back in the 18th century, I believe. It's been abandoned for nearly 100 years now, and it's a bit of a ruin to say the least. What I understand, there was quite a few houses here built around a tidal flour mill. The flour mill had a reservoir that, when the tide came in, filled up the reservoir, and then they slowly released and emptied that reservoir to power the mill in order to grind the flour and what have you. And of course, people working in this place needed houses. There was even a hospital built. So let's go and have an explore. We spent a bit of time looking around the ruins of this old mill, looking at the old flint stones and what remains there was. What a great window. Found it very interesting just how little remains, even though it was just 100 years ago that this place was abandoned. Reality is a lot of this was knocked down during World War II in order to make way for the defence and the army. However, this little bridge that we're walking across now still remains and is still very, very solid. It's just a great monument to what exists. We headed back to the van to head on to our next place. Well, that is Tide Mills, and from one abandoned village to another. Let's hope. I'm famished. Let's hope we can sort out some food. Well, there we go. BLT wraps now cooked. We're going to eat this before going and having a look around Birling Gap. Got to say, cooking in the back of the van worked out better than trying to pitch up the table. BLT sandwich is good.
Except it's a wrap. But yes, no, I prefer it in a wrap actually.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Tasty. Right, let's go have a look around Birling Gap. With Alfie safely parked up in the car park, we headed over to the busy and bustling cafe area. But the main attraction in this area is Birling Gap, the site of some houses that has been falling into the sea due to coastal erosion. Added to that, the view of these cliffs, the Seven Sisters, is just absolutely stunning. We headed up the hill with Roxy leading the way in order to see the next viewpoint. But as we walked up, we kept looking back to see the views, and I've got to say the views are absolutely stunning. Now in the distance you can see our next destination, the Belle, tout lighthouse, which has appeared in a great number of films and is very romantic setting, but it's also known for having to be moved away from a cliff in order to stop it falling away as well. Engineering at its absolute finest. Now, in the distance we saw another lighthouse, otherwise known as Beachy Head. We didn't go that far, we'll save that for another day, but we headed back down the hill and back to our van, where we felt it was time to start heading back home. Well, time to go home from our day of exploring. 3 locations: Tide Mills, Birling Gap, Belle, tout lighthouse. Travel past all 3 of these locations thousands of times, never ever stopped off to see what they were all about. Feel a bit guilty for that, but you know, when things are on your doorstep, you don't tend to look at them so much, do you? Right, time to go home, but I will ask you to please subscribe, please like this video if you've enjoyed it, and I think click the bell notification so you know whenever I put another video up. Until next time, please take care.